cue cards. All right. All right. I have a dream that one day little black boys and little white girls will one day join hands and walk in unity. Did you know that Dr. King's birth name was Michael Luther King Jr.? Yeah, I didn't know that either. Yes, in 1934, Michael Luther King Sr. changed he and his son's name after visiting Europe in honor of the 16th century German church reformer Martin Luther. Hi, I'm Oscar. Oscar Lee Haynes Jr. And Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he's not just my hero, but also a role model. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a historical hero. He was a civil rights activist, a Baptist minister, and an African-American male living in the 1950s and 60s. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. marched in the 1950s and 1960s for equal rights of African-American people. He led the fight in the Montgomery bus boycott in the year of 1955 through 1956. Dr. King was also known for such speeches as, "I have a dream," "I've been to the mountaintop," and his acceptance of the Nobel Peace Prize. In February, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a vision of equality for all of America and was willing to give his life for this cause. Now, civil rights activist is just one title held by Dr. King. His faith in God built in him a passion as a Baptist minister. In February of 1948, Dr. King was ordained by his father and became a minister at the Ebenezer Baptist Church. Dr. King also studied at Morehouse College and considered several different studies, medicine, law, until he finally focused on sociology. But as we know, Dr. King went back to his passion, ministering to the people. As you can see, Dr. King's first love was for Christ. Now, let me share just the reality that Dr. King had to live with. And that reality was being an African-American man living in the 1950s and 60s. Dr. King knew that God had a plan. God's plan was for all people to be treated equally. As an African-American man, he knew that his children and their children should be given the same opportunities as white Americans. As an African-American man, he lived and seen firsthand the struggles and obstacles that lied ahead for all African Americans, his people, his family. Although Dr. King stood for the rights of all people, he strongly believed in nonviolence. As a civil rights activist, he believed everyone should have the same rights all over America. No one should be treated different. As a Baptist minister, he was given a vision that all races would walk in unity. And as an African American, he visualized the pain and struggles that Black America had to endure and was willing to fight. Please understand, Dr. King's fight was for African Americans, but not just African Americans, but for the rights of all people equally. He knew that the God he served was a God of equality, black, white, boy, girl, woman, man, Jew, or Gentile. He knew that violence was not the answer, and with God's love and unity, we could make a difference. Thank you, Dr. King, for your life fight. Although you are not here to see your dream in action, today, little black boys and little black girls and little white girls have joined hands, and we now walk in unity today. It is not just what you live for, but what you died for. He was best known for his role in the advance of civil rights using nonviolent civil disobedience based on his Christian beliefs. Dr. King left us April 4th, 1968. We love you, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. May God bless your soul. Amen. Thank you.